Hello all, I'm Guna Mathivanan. Welcome back to Simply Current Affairs. In today's Current Affairs Hitlist series, we are going to discuss Chapter 5 and 6 from Economic Survey. So previously I have discussed 4 chapters. Even before that I have discussed basics of Economic Survey. Please go through those videos if you haven't watched. Before going into the session, if you are looking for some support in revising economy, environment, geography, we have quick revision program where in 15 hours each subject will be covered quickly. It could be your essential revision required. So if you want to know more about the courses, you can visit our website www.simplycurrentaffairs.com. In the homepage you have courses section, and also for the next 30 days, for this 1 month, from our side, to extend our support, we are providing all our courses at a discount of 50%. So if you are looking for some test program, if you are looking for some current affairs program, you can avail this support, right? This also you can avail from the same website in the courses section, right? So chapter number 5, inflation tamed and anchored. See, we know COVID resulted in lockdown. This lockdown that affected the GDP got contracted because there was no production. Production was very less. Then when COVID was coming under little control, we were relaxing our lockdown to stimulate the growth. So to stimulate the growth, money supply was increased. There was fiscal stimulus. At the same time, the monetary policy was also very accommodative, where the interest rates were getting reduced, the repo rates were reduced. Another side, money supply was also getting increased. For example, Government of India came with some scheme called as Atmanirbhar Bharat, through which almost 20 lakh crores worth of money was pumped into the economy. So to stimulate the growth, money supply was increased. As a consequence, yes, we were able to have growth recovery. As a consequence, we were able to have growth recovery. At the same time, there was high inflation. We were experiencing double-digit inflation. Okay, the same trend you can see in almost all the country. Even the advanced economies were facing the same thing. COVID, lockdown, GDP contracted. To stimulate growth, money supply was increased, growth recovered, and that resulted in very high inflation. So if you take 2022, 2023 and all, the inflation was very high. So following this high inflation, government was taking effort, especially RBI was taking effort. They were going for contractionary monetary policy. And the inflation was greatly reduced. In the chapter 1 of Economic Survey only, we discussed that between April 2025 till December 2025, the inflation was around 1.7%. The consumer price index, headline consumer price index, was almost 1.7%. So from double digit inflation, we were able to reduce, not just us, even the advanced economies, the inflation increased, then we were able to bring it down. This is the trend which we have to note. Okay. So inflation has now moderated. So in 2022, the global headline inflation was at a peak. It was declined to 4.2% from 8.7%, the global average, by 2025. CY means the current year. Okay. So policy response. So initially there was rate cuts to boost the growth rate, but later it was the rate. Then after that we were increasing the repo rates. Okay, fine. So CPI trajectory, as I said, April, December, it was 1.7%. But if it go to the financial year 23, that is 22-23, the inflation was almost 6.7%. Wholesale price index, which was lower than CPI. So both consumer price index as well as wholesale price index, we were able to see a deflationary situation. A trend was more deflationary in nature. Okay. So, core inflation, we all know what is core inflation. See, in the first chapter only about inflation I have explained. What did I say? The consumer price index was almost 1.7%. And if you take core inflation, what is core inflation? So this is headline. Headline will take into account of everything. So what is core inflation? Core inflation will be measuring the inflation without food and fuel. So headline will take everything. So with food and fuel, the CPI was 1.7%. And if you take without food and fuel, the inflation was almost 4.76%. So what does this signify? With food and fuel, the inflation is very, very low. Without food and fuel, the inflation is almost 4.6%. This clearly signifies that the prices of food, the prices of food items, that fell drastically. That is so low. If you remove the food, the inflation is higher. When you add the food, when you take into account of the food items, the inflation is coming down. That means the food prices are very, very, very low. It got drastically reduced. And if you take core inflation, excluding the precious metals like gold and silver. So if you remove the core inflation, from this core inflation, you subtract the gold and silver. This 4.6 will further reduce. So of all the items, the food items, the price declined drastically. It was going into deflationary trend. Core inflation was 4.6. In this 4.6 also, the main driver of prices is gold and silver. So if you remove the gold and silver from the core inflation, then the inflation will even more come down. It will come closer to 2%. Okay. The survey is also highlighting about base effect and momentum effect. Base effect means, see, for example, October 2025, what was the inflation growth compared to October 2024? This is called as base. Effect. Go to last year, same month, and then compare. October 2025 will compare with October 2024. Accordingly, growth will be projected. October 24 will be compared with October 23. What is momentum effect? Month on month. So October 2025 will be compared with September 2025. September will be compared with August. August will be compared with July. July will be compared with June. This is called as momentum effect. Okay. So momentum effect is month on month price changes in the current year. Base effect influence the price levels from the same month in the previous year. These terms just understand. Beyond that, it is not going to help. Okay, GDP deflator, we all know, nominal GDP divided by real GDP. What is GDP deflator? Nominal GDP by real GDP. What is nominal GDP? GDP calculated at current prices divided by GDP calculated at constant price. If this GDP deflator, if this ratio is greater than 1, or the ratio is less than 1, or if the ratio is equal to 1, what does it signify? If GDP deflator is greater than 1, this implies the current year price is greater than the constant year price. If GDP deflator is less than 1, this implies the current price is less than the constant price. If GDP deflator is equal to 1. This means the current price and the constant price are same. There is no price rise. Okay. So, this is GDP deflator. Now, the survey specifically talks about manufacturing versus agriculture terms of trade. Manufacturing versus agriculture terms of trade. When we take terms of trade, here it is actually means manufacturing versus agriculture terms of trade. That actually takes a ratio of manufacturing deflator. That takes a ratio of manufacturing deflator divided by agriculture deflator. For manufacturing sector, what is a deflator? For agriculture sector, what is a deflator? So, here we discuss nominal GDP by real GDP. Nominal GDP only in manufacturing, real GDP only in manufacturing, then that ratio is called as manufacturing deflator. If you take only agriculture, take the ratio, that is called as agriculture deflator. So, when we say manufacturing versus agriculture terms of trade, it is manufacturing deflator by agriculture deflator. So, here the survey is highlighting the agriculture deflator is 2.17, the industry deflator is 1.55, manufacturing deflator is 1.41, service deflator is 1.75. In general, GDP deflator, if it is greater than 1, that means the current year is experiencing inflation. So, agriculture deflator is 2.17 means agriculture prices when compared to the constant year in the current year increased. That's a sharp increase. If you take the industry deflator, the current prices increased by 1.5 times. Manufacturing deflator 1.4 times. Service deflator 1.7 times when compared to the constant year. When compared to the base year, constant year, we are calculating the deflator. Okay. So, here the terms of trade, that is manufacturing deflator by agricultural deflator. Assume manufacturing deflator is 4, assume agriculture deflator is 2, assume here we are getting 2. This signifies that the prices in the manufacturing sector is twice costlier when compared to the prices in the agriculture sector. That is what this signifies. Or assume like this, if manufacturing deflator is 2 and agriculture deflator is 4, this means it is 0.5. This signifies the manufacturing prices, manufactured product prices is half of the cost of agricultural products. This is an understanding. Okay. So, here when this ratio is greater than 1, it means the manufacturing prices are rising faster when compared to agriculture product. If the ratio is less than 1, the agriculture is gaining relative advantage when compared to the manufacturing product. So, the ratio is more than 1, that means the manufacturing price is increasing faster. If the ratio is less than 1, then manufacturing price is less or the agriculture prices is growing faster. Okay. So, so when you are comparing the terms of trade of manufacturing related to agriculture from financial year 2004-2005 to financial year 2024-25, we are able to see a sharp decline. So, in the year 2005, the manufacturing to agriculture terms of trade was 1.29, that is more than 1, and now it is less than 1, that is 0.65. See, now I understand we are going into so deep into the facts, figures being discussed in the economic survey. Whether for UPSC this much is required. In my opinion, for UPSC, if you are able to understand what is GDP deflator, what is nominal GDP, what is real GDP, if the GDP deflator is greater than 1, less than 1, what does that mean? That much is sufficient. If you are able to follow this, fine. If you are not able to follow, it doesn't mean that you are losing or missing out something. Don't get scared. Simple only, nothing difficult to understand. It is simple only. Okay, when I say agriculture deflator, only specific to agriculture. Okay, simply deflator. If it is greater than 1, that means current price is more. When I say agriculture deflators, if agriculture deflator is 2.17, that means the agricultural prices is higher when compared to the base year. You have to compare the base year. You have to compare with the base year, okay? Similarly, industry deflator, manufacturing deflator, service deflator, everything is increasing. Everything is increasing. But when compared to the base year, the agriculture deflator value, we are able to see a sharp increase. Okay. So now the question might arise. Why we are able to see a sharp increase in the agri deflator? Because the agriculture market prices are supported by government. We have MSP. Government guarantees a fair price for the agri products. Okay, if you take services we have an advantage. We have an advantage. People are dependent on India, so we can increase the price. But manufacturing, we are competing with other global countries. The global countries, they are even more competitive. So if India wants to be challenging that competitiveness, we cannot increase the price. We have to reduce the price. That is the reason why the manufacturing prices, the deflator value is relatively low. So what happens, since the manufacturing faces global competition, so there is a lot of cost cuttings which we have to do. We have to reduce the prices. Only then we can have our share in the manufacturing, exports, etc. So, or even domestic sales also, we are facing a stiff competition. So because of the high, when this competition is very high, the prices will not increase. The prices will be less. So what happens? The manufacturing products prices is not increasing. And you know, while calculating the GDP or GVA, while calculating the gross domestic product, the nominal GDP, nominal GVA, when you are calculating, that will also have the influence of prices. Okay, so when the industry's prices are not increasing that much, when the manufacturing output prices are not increasing that much, then that will also have an impact on the sectoral contribution on the GDP. So what happens, the manufacturing share in the current prices, that is the nominal GVA, current price GVA means nominal GVA, that is declining. This is what the outcome which the survey is trying to explain. Okay, so we know that when I calculate nominal GDP, when I calculate nominal GDP or nominal GVA, whatever I calculate, here current price is involved. When the current price of agriculture, current price of manufacturing, the current price of service sector, current price, when you compare base, then only we will know the difference. In the current price of agriculture, in the current price of manufacturing, in the current price of services, when it comes to agriculture, because of the government support, the agriculture output might look little bigger, because the output is nothing but measure of money value only. When the money value, when the price is increased, the share becomes greater. Services also, what happens, people are dependent on us. So we are able to sell the product for a higher price. So because of that also, because of our advantage, it appears the service growth is also higher. But manufacturing, because of severe competition and other aspects, the prices is not increasing that much. Price also influences the calculation of nominal GDP. So ultimately, when you take the sectoral contribution, the service sector contribution appears to be higher. The agriculture contribution is also slightly improved. When it comes to the manufacturing contribution, it appears little low. The main reason which highlights is the prices of manufacturing. The manufacturing deflator is slowest when compared to others. That's the reason which the survey is highlighting. Okay. With respect to rural and urban, so usually when you see the inflation of rural areas and urban areas, the rural inflation will be more than urban inflation, for the simple reason, in the rural inflation basket, urban inflation basket, in rural, the weightage for food items will be higher. Because in rural areas, their income is less. In that, major portion will go for consumption of food. In urban areas, the income is little more. So a major portion will not go to food. So the weightage given for food items in rural areas is more when compared to the weightage given for food items in urban areas. Usually the food prices will be high. So the inflation in rural areas will generally be higher than the urban areas. But Today, the inflation in food prices is less. Today, the inflation, that is the prices of the food items, is less. So, and also, the weightage of food items in the rural area is more, and the food items prices fell drastically. Because of that, the urban inflation appears to be higher. Because of that, the urban inflation is appearing to be higher. So in 23-24, the rural inflation remained above the urban inflation because have higher weightage of food items. In 2025, as food inflation eased, the rural inflation dipped below the urban inflation. Okay, anyhow, forecast. So in the coming years, in financial year 26, it is expected that the inflation will go to around 2.8%. In 27, the inflation will go up to 4%. This is about the inflation chapter. We will move on to the next chapter, that's regarding agriculture, food management. So sectoral overview. The agriculture sector is contributing almost 20% of the national income, and it employs 46.1% of the workforce. If you take the last 10 years growth rate of the agriculture sector, that is averaging around 4.45%. And specifically, if you take the sector-wise performance, that is only crop sector, if you take, it is 3.5% growth. Livestock 7.1%, fishing and aquaculture 8.85%. So the average 4.45% that comes because of the growth achieved in livestock and fishing, that is the allied activities. Agriculture, the crop sector alone, if you take, the growth is only 3.5. If you take the allied activities also, only that is helping the overall agriculture sector as a whole to have a relatively higher growth rate. Okay. Productivity means yield per hectare. That is called as productivity. Production is different, productivity is different. For example, I am able to read 5 pages in 1 hour. Okay. Next, after 1 week, I am able to read 6 pages in 1 hour. After a week, I am able to read 7 pages in 1 hour. This is productivity. Same 1 hour, you are able to increase your learning outcome. This is productivity. Similarly, yield, I have 1 hectare of land. Now, this year, I am producing 1 ton of rice. Next year, in the same piece of land, I am producing 1.2 tons of rice. Next year, in the same piece of land, if I am able to produce more than 1.4 tons. So, this means yield is improving. My productivity is improving. The challenge in India is land. Our land, any country, the challenge is land. The land is definite. That to cultivable land is definite. We cannot increase the land. The cultivable land is definite. That means if you want to increase the production, you cannot expand the land. Because there is no land to expand. What we can do is we have to achieve a higher efficiency. Productivity has to be increased. So when you see the growth rate, we are much better when compared to the global average. The decadal growth rate of agriculture sector in India is much better. But when it comes to the yield, if we take cereals, maize, soybean, pulses, we are far behind the global productivity. When it comes to groundnut, the productivity is higher. Other crops, the productivity, global average. For example, rice. 1 hectare, if 6 tons are produced, if 4 tons are produced globally, India produces only 3 tons. Example I am saying, roughly I am saying. Okay. So in cereals, maize, soybean, pulses, our yield, productivity is less when compared to the global average. Groundnuts, we are better. So our main constraint is land resource, and water is also shrinking. So we have to focus on improving the productivity. So for which government has initiated a lot of policy measures. Food security mission, national food security mission, oil and seeds pulse self-sufficiency, national mission on edible oil seeds, national mission on edible oil palm, Atmanirbharta in pulses, Pradhan Mantri Dhan Dhanya Krishi Yojana. Apart from that, minimum support price, Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi, Pradhan Mantri Kisan Man Dhan Yojana, pension for the farmers. PM Kisan will provide 6,000 rupees in 3 installments for the farmers. Okay, Fasal Bima Yojana is crop insurance. Kisan Sampada Yojana is with respect to food processing sector. Production linked incentive for food processing sector. formalization of micro food enterprises. All these are efforts taken by the government with respect to agriculture sector. Now, all these schemes, if I start explaining, then that is going to consume a lot of time. So, I am sharing you all these schemes as part of my current affairs classes, as part of my, 70 by 75 is my current affairs class. In the current affairs class, I have covered separately, I have covered a different time period, I have covered topics mentioned here. So, those slides I am sharing with you. Please go through those slides. For example, Dandaniya Krishi Yojana, what is that? Dandaniya Krishi Yojana is getting inspiration from the aspirational district program. What is that? Right? What about the soil health card scheme? What about the soil health card scheme? What about electronic national agriculture market? What is this minimum support price and all? I have discussed in the hit list only. Okay. Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi, Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. So all these slides I will share it with you. Please go through. So once I finish the economic survey, the left out schemes as a part of the ongoing hit list I will cover. But don't wait for that. You kindly go through these slides. So survey from now onwards, the first 5 chapters were core economics. From 6th chapter, it is not core economics, it will tell you about different sectors performance. The trend, that sectoral trend performance we will discuss. Various initiatives, even survey will not explain in detail. Survey will just mention these items. These are the efforts taken by the government to achieve certain things. They will just mention those schemes. We have to go and we have to expand and we have to study about those schemes. I will provide all the notes. Once I finish the economic survey, some of the schemes I have covered as a part of hit list only. Okay, please go through that hit list. And the remaining schemes also, after finishing the survey, as a part of the ongoing hit list only, I will be discussing. Okay, so with this, the chapter, the chapter number 5 and 6 is coming to an end. Slides you can download by clicking the link given in the description. Last class slides I didn't add, I guess. Many students were asking me. We have added it, so you can download those slides as well. Right friends, I will see you in the next hit list video. Till then, bye. Take care from Guna Mathivanan.